It was total chaos for several hours. Tens of thousands of pounds of frightened livestock, more than a dozen startled bison barreling through brush, forest, and fields.
A dangerous situation for sure. The bison made their way close to busy roads, causing some traffic slowdowns and some near misses. Authorities say they just couldn't tranquilize the animals, and that those bisons, as you can see, were uncontrolled and running loose.
The chaos came to a sudden conclusion, though. All the animals shot and killed in a hail of gunfire just hours ago. Kimberly Howard has been tracking these animals all day as they moved from the Hudson River to the Thruway. She's here live right now. And Kimberly, police say this became a huge public safety concern.
That's right, Ann and Cody. We watched as the animals made their way from the Hudson River closer to the Thruway, actually charging police at one point across this road here, River Road, and over to the Thruway, where cars were coming full speed ahead. Several cars pulled over to the side of the road. The driver of a tractor trailer laying on the horn. The bison made it across both sides of the highway without being hit and without harming anyone, but they kept running, as you mentioned, triggering a massive hunt, and as you mentioned as well, a concern for public safety.
Tracking the animals, there's about 12 to 15.
1,100-pound bison that busted out of Gem Farms in Skodak, a family that has been handling these animals for more than 25 years. Viewers snapped pictures of the herd grazing, and authorities were hopeful the animals could be corralled. Eventually, that hope was shattered.
Snow fence or any kind of fence is not going to be able to round them up and keep them until we're able to, contact a group with tranquilizers.
But that, authorities say, wouldn't have worked either. Thomas Gallagher is a livestock specialist with the Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Very powerful animals. They'll go right through fences. They'll go through walls of some of the buildings sometimes. I mean, they'll put their head down and go right to the side of a barn. And they have horns. I think you noticed that. So they'll actually maul you, can kill a person very easily. So they're a very dangerous animal.
As the herd charged toward the Thruway and a state helicopter hovered overhead, authorities say there was only one option. They had to be shot.
You folks were all in the area. There were young kids in the area. It was time to put this thing, to end this, period.
The family who owns the bison hired shooters to kill the animals before the animals potentially killed someone else.
That was really a last resort that we wanted to do, is to shoot these animals.
But Albany County Sheriff Craig Apple watched as the bison ran up a creek. A gunman, he says, fired several times, killing a few, but at least one didn't go down.
It was floundering around in the water, obviously not close to going down. We wanted that animal down. They refused to put it down. They continued to fire blindly down the stream bed, through trees. We wanted that animal down. He refused to do it and continued to fire. It was turning into the wild, wild west. It was ridiculous. It was time to put an end to it.
That shooter was cuffed, but not charged. The rest of the bison eventually shot dead.
It's not a decision that anybody at this table or anybody we spoke with takes lightly.
We also wanted to know if this family of farmers could be held liable for these animals busting out, but we're told this can happen, although it is rare. Cody?
And Kimberly, we know this has been an all-day event, hours, a lot of manpower too, and a lot of resources.
So really, who is paying for all of this? This seems to be a big operation.
Yeah, sure. We asked authorities that question too. They said that all of the personnel that was involved they were actually working their regular shift. So they told us that there was no additional cost that was being spent as far as this massive operation. However, if any of these animals had hurt any property or any people, the family of farmers would have been held liable for that. I also want to mention that throughout the day, we did encounter this family of farmers, tried several times to get them to speak with us on camera about the situation. At that time, when things were kind of hectic, they continued to refuse. We did call that farm again after everything started winding down, just after close to 3 o'clock, actually. And at this point, we still have not heard back. We're live in Selkirk. Kimberly Howard, CBS 6 News.
All right, Kimberly, thanks for that report. We'll check back in with you in a little bit. We've had crews out all day tracking these bison as they move through the area. It started this morning.
Yeah, and here's the path they took right here on this map, starting at that farm at Castleton, right over there where Cody's pointing. That's on the Hudson, and they crossed the river. They were spotted around 6 this morning at Maple Avenue and River Road in Selkirk.
Yeah, it's interesting. They actually crossed the Hudson. It's surprising. Trail picked up again near exit 21A on the Thruway. The herd moved southbound, so to speak, and the track came to an end at a creek in Queens near Route 9W. runaway bison, as you can imagine, it's a pretty weird story. So it's dominated social media today. And the death of these bison has a lot of people speaking out on our Facebook page. Kathy wrote in, "This was the last thing I wanted to hear. What beautiful animals. It is a waste."
And Mike wrote in saying, besides the fact that sedation is not guaranteed to work, how would you suggest they move them if it did? These are enormous animals and are extremely aggressive. The safest decision was to put them down. And your videos and pictures have been pouring in all day. We want to hear from you, so head to our website, cbs6albany.com, and also check out our Facebook page to continue the conversation.